All right, guys, I should be live. The reason why I'm saying that I should be live is because there's a couple of new things that I'm trying today. The couple of new things that I'm trying is, first of all, using Facebook Live to broadcast my desktop. And secondly, because in order to do that, I'm using OBS Studio, which apparently doesn't let me see my Facebook page. But as I've tried it before, very quickly just before this video, it allows me to post live even without me being able to see actually the page and interact with you guys. So for the next time, I will have to think about doing it differently, but I wanted to do it like this today because I prepared a couple of charts, well, slides actually. Don't worry, it's not going to be too much work for you to go through them, and I didn't really spend hours in preparing them because I want this to be more of an interactive session. And unfortunately, I may not be able to see what kind of messages you're posting, if you are, and how many of you are there. But if you have questions, I'm on Messenger, so I figure that if you're sending me your questions via Messenger directly, I should receive them and being able to answer them directly through Messenger. And then, of course, this video will be posted on the Facebook NH2BE group where you guys are a member of. And well, of course, I will also post the questions and answers there. So the topic for today. Now let me switch. By the way, I'm in a terrace, so I know. Let me see. Yeah, it's not bad. Um, I had to choose these location today since there's some activities going on inside, so it was not really practical for me or the others that I really was there while I was recording these. So without further ado, let me get back to here. You see, by the way, iag.me, it's a fantastic resource if you ever need any any practical hints, but I would say very targeted hints at technical issues you're having. That's a perfect site. Okay, so show tools. So the comment for today, present. The topic for today's session is digital marketing funnel and SFM automation. Just so that you know that I am live today. Well, is it the 9th? I hope it is the 9th. Yeah, it is the 9th. You can see it there as well, I hope. And I'm going to talk in the next 25 minutes or so about what digital marketing funnel is and how SFM enables you to automate all the operations or a lot of the fundamental operations related to practically building and maintaining your digital funnel. So without further ado, this is not a chart I created, first of all. This is probably a chart you're familiar with. This is one of the charts that Jay Kubasek, one of the founders of the SFM platform, shows in some of his videos, but I thought it relevant because no matter whether you are an expert or you're just starting with these, I wanted really to cover the basics of what a digital or any marketing funnel is. So why am I showing then these? Because this is showing pretty much the divide between what's considered to being traditional economy, and you see a few examples here. So like brick and mortar stores, retail stores, traditional retail stores, postal service. So as traditionally conceived as one of the as non-digital examples of business par excellence. Whereas now, with the surge of companies like Amazon, like Netflix, like Gmail, like Google, oh, hey Glenn, thank you for letting me know. It's of course all companies that we know. There's going to be many more in the future, but I thought it relevant to show you guys that the concept of marketing funnel, first of all, has always pretty much existed. But what I'm going to talk about today is digital marketing funnels. So if you think about SFM, if you're embarking upon your SFM journey, if you're on your SFM journey, you need to know, I bet you know that already, but it's never, the Latin said, repetita juvant. So the more you repeat something, the better it soaks into your brains. At least it works well for me. I hope it also works well for you guys. Wow. Okay, marketing funnel. Whoa, ho. Okay, what is this beast? And by the way, you see, I actually took these screen from Track Maven. You can go there and visit their blog. Is really well done. I just decided to take this picture because what a marketing funnel is in general is exactly like that. It's a funnel. So you start building a digital business with SFM, capturing the interest of people. Well, not just with SFM, right? So let's talk digital business without SFM. And let's then talk, because many of the things that I'm going to talk here are actually applying to SFM, but also to non-SFM enabled marketing funnels or digital businesses. So what is a digital business? Maybe I should create a separate session just on that. So a digital business, the way we talk about, the way I refer to in these live meetings, and by the way, guys, sorry for some of the background noise. I hear today there is the world going over my head. There's planes, there's dogs barking. So apologies for that. I guess you will have to bear with it. So what a digital business is, in the terms that I'm referring to, is a way to propose services and products which are of value to a specific audience, your target audience. You see, I was talking about the planes. All right, a target audience that may well and or better resonate, will better resonate with your message. So let's say, for example, that you are selling goji berry juice, whatever, right? So you are targeting, you will need to define first who your target audience for your goji berry juice is. And let's say, I'm not going to talk about targeting here, but let's say that you define, we're going to talk about that in a separate session. Let's say you define your target audience and it's working well for you, meaning that you understood that, for example, people who are undergoing a diet, so people who are visiting blogs related to diets or food in general, are very receptive to your content, and your content being the message that actually should create the awareness for these people. Awareness about what? Awareness about your product or your very existence. Because guys, let's be honest, when we are out there, and this is working exactly the same way, both in the offline world and in the online world, if you open up a new store or a digital store, people are not automatically going to know that it's there, especially if you're creating it in a place that where it's not automatically visible. I understand that this is more directly understandable if you refer your experience to traditional stores, but let's reflect a bit on the digital aspects of it, because that's what we're talking about. Even though I made very specifically an example with a physical product, and I made it because I want you to understand that no matter whether we're talking about digital, this concept applying to whether you want to build a business that sells physical products, digital products, or services. It works like a charm exactly in the same way. And the marketing funnel, is a fundamental concept about marketing. Marketing meaning getting the people to know about you, getting the people to know about your product, and more specifically, getting them to understand the value that you and your product or services can give them, right? So, again, digital business works in these ways. So you need to create awareness, first of all, about your brand, your very existence. And how do you do that? Well, you do that through targeted marketing campaigns. Targeted to what? Well, targeted to the audience, targeted to your target audience. Sorry for the game word. But as I said before, of course, you're going to try and work to appeal to the people who you believe are going to be more responsive. Why is that? And again, this is for a different moment, for a different live event. Of course, it is for another. Of course, you need to refer to a specific target audience, because typically the way of marketing that works best is the paid advertising. There's no way around it, guys, and there's no secret. This is not something that I am or SFM is or other marketers are selling. It is the reality. And it was the reality even before the advent of the digital marketing, right? So you purchase your advertising, let's say you do it on Facebook or on YouTube, on any other platform which suits you best, and you create your campaigns targeting your audience. So that's the level of awareness. Now, when do you actually get people to notice you? Of course, you know that you put the effort there, but the moment these people are going there, let's draw the parallel with people that are passing by a store, a physical shop. Maybe they were not even aware that this was there. So they walk in the road, they walk along the street, they walk in an alley, wherever your store is, and well, all of a sudden they notice it. They notice the store, right? They notice the vitrine, they notice the window, they notice the door, they notice the writing, and they are somewhat attracted by it because all of a sudden they become aware. Not all of the people who will pass by will be attracted or interested. I see the second layer here, interested. Well, the ones who will probably enter the door, right? Probably because there's nothing for sure, but there's quite a high likelihood, if you target your audience well, that the more people are looking at your store, the more will be interested and the more will enter, right? So lead generation is the very first step of any marketing funnel, transforming awareness into a demonstration of interest. What is a demonstration of interest? The demonstration of interest is when, in digital terms, people are seeing your message, are clicking on your message, are receiving your message, and they are saying, God, Luca's message is really resonating with me. At that moment, I didn't know Luca, I didn't know about his product, and it's not like I'm not aware that there are other products out there, but I'm convinced by the specific message that Luca is giving me about his products or services. So I'll decide to give it a try, or at least I'll decide now to get more information about that. So introduction to positioning is very important. Let's say here, right? Engagement introduction to positioning. The first step that people take usually, and especially in the digital terms that I'm talking about here, the digital marketing funnel, is expressing their interest. How? By submitting their email address. I mean, think about how you did come in contact with me, with SFM, with other people. It was probably through a video message or a Facebook ad, because those are the ways that I am mostly active marketing in these days. And of course, something about those messages resonated with you. Might have been my face, it might have been my voice, it might have been the writing, it might have been an image. Whatever attracted you there, you listened or you read a message, you listened to a message or you read the message, and then you decided to give it a go. To give it a go in terms of what? Well, you didn't really have to pay for anything at this stage, right? There's how not just like I do that. That's the typical way the digital marketers nowadays do that. It may change in the future, but nowadays is working pretty well. So asking people their email address and to sign up to a newsletter or the option of recurring sending them messages. You see here emails, targeted content, classes, newsletter, and more. This is also this live event that I'm hosting today. You can call it kind of a class, right? It's a live event. It's a class that I'm proposing to a very specific audience within the funnel of my own list. And I'm going to talk about that again in a separate way, because today I'm talking about marketing funnel, and I'm not going to talk about categorizing or segmenting your audience, or more specifically your list. That's for a different topic. Back to the topic at hand. So once a person has clicked on your ad, has received the message, has opted in is the magic word that you want to highly be productive on, meaning that for every ad you place that you pay for, you want it to work well for you in terms of being visible to the audience, and then in terms of having these audience opting in, meaning, right, I like Luca's message, I'll give him my email address, I'll give him the right to send me messages, targeted content, in return for something which is usually for free. And usually this something, it comes in the form of a video, it comes in the form of another digital asset, it may even come in the form of a discount code, for example, if you're selling products. Whatever it is, people recognize that there is value in getting this content, right? So they give you their email address. The consideration that comes later, that's the further step. So at this stage, people, the audience, the untargeted audience, have effectively become your targeted audience lead. So you just transformed a visitor into a lead. That's a fundamental step. Why is it a fundamental step? Because before becoming leads, people didn't even know about you or that you existed, right? Being aware is the first stage of actually taking any action. So interest, so they are aware, they demonstrated the interest. what do you need now? What's the goal of a marketing funnel? Before I move on here, let's remember that we are here to build a digital business. Digital business shouldn't fool you. Digital does not equal non-business. All the opposite. Digital means to scale up, to leverage all of the power of the digital assets and digital instruments that we have out there. I'm going to talk quickly about just a few of them related to SFM, but there is more that, I'm going to dedicate other lives to and other videos to. So to leverage, to increase your ability to generate income. How do you generate income? Well, I told it at the very beginning, right? You sell something. You sell products, for example, goji berry juice. You can sell digital assets. You can sell PDF books. You can sell video marketing material or video training sessions, classes. Whatever you decide to sell, you need people to pay for it. Why do you need people to pay for it? Because we are building a business, guys. So here, I'm not going to talk because we have a limited time, a limited space, and I expressly want it to last no more than 30, 35, 40 minutes max, because I know that you need time to digest this, especially if you're new to digital marketing, especially if you're new to SFM, or if you just joined my list and you're considering to move on your first steps with SFM and submitting your application, which I advise warmly, by the way. And let me explain why. But these that I'm telling you now about marketing funnel is general. It applies to any kind of effort you want to undertake with creating your own digital business. All right? So, how do you make people consider your product? Well, having them seeing your ads is a very first good step. But of course, that is only generating the awareness needed for you to transform that visit into a lead, right? Giving you their email address. So, of course, after you receive their email address, what you start doing, and you might have noticed if you've subscribed to my newsletter or anybody else's newsletter for that matter, that you start receiving product information, special messages, automated email campaigns. All of these will make sense later, guys, right? And but in general, as being in the receiving end of these, you are aware that you're receiving messages, and some of these messages are actually giving you some food for thought because they are targeting a very specific feeling that you have. Why is that? Well, sometimes there's emails that you read and you start thinking, wow, guys, that's fantastic. I was really in need of something like this, and thank God, I'm going to click and take action. And why? That's because, of course, you opted in to a newsletter that has targeted you as well as their primary audience. So don't be surprised. But I understand that sometimes there is a bit of magic involved because that's how our human brain works, right? So you're receiving these email marketing campaigns, or any other form of campaigns, but let's talk about emails so that we follow the thread of this example. And you start considering, oh, well, look at goji berries are actually really great. He's not talking about his goji berries in terms of just being the best product. He's talking about how that could solve my problem and how he proposes to include, for example, goji berries into my daily diet so that I can lose weight or be more fit or, adjust some of my metabolic parameters, whatever it is, to improve my life condition and my health condition overall. So you start considering that. And maybe not the first message, maybe not the second message, but you are starting to enter a state of mind in which after a while, you say, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. Maybe because you start hearing and reading more about goji berries. By the way, opening a parenthesis here. Have you ever noticed how as soon as you buy a new car, all of a sudden the road seems to be filled with exactly the same kind of car? That's exactly how this works. Our brain starts to focus its attention on something that is for it of importance. In this case, it is goji berries is something you all of a sudden become aware of, and you start considering them, and you start noticing more any article, any piece of material, even on the television about the goji berries. So after a while you say, hey, I know Luca. I remember that he sent me his messages about trying these goji berries, and I got even 50% sale, for example. So you nurture your lead until you go all the way into considering intent. So you actually give the possibility to try the products, for example, or entering contact with testimonials or asking direct questions. All of these is narrowing down the opportunity. So why does it take the shape of a funnel? Now, it should become more evident why it's called a funnel now. It is called a funnel because no matter how many visitors you get, you will never be able to turn all of them into leads. And of all the leads that you will get, you will never be able to turn all of them into people who will be interested, will consider everything that you say, will actually make an active intent and bespoke action towards evaluating the product and finally purchasing. Your goal as a business person in the creation of your digital business is to provide something that is of value to the people. In this case, it's easy because you have the product, which might be a great product, but the value that you need to provide comes from applying how great the product is to their problem. So in the case of the goji berries, you might even really start sending them articles or sending your audience, your list of opt-ins of your leads to nurture them, recommendations on how they could benefit from including goji berries in their daily diets. And after a while, somebody, not all of them, we said it's a funnel, will purchase. But these should be actually obvious from your daily experience yourself as a consumer, right? You don't buy everything you see. You actually go on the television, you see ads. Do you buy everything that you see on the ads? Well, if you do, you're either Mark Zuckerberg and you're very rich, or guys, you might end up having a problem with your spouse or with the space in your house, with your bank account. I don't know. But that's not the typical behavior. Now, let's also, before I move on, talk about, so sales transaction is completed, right? This is very important. So I know I talked about the marketing funnel in a bit of a step-by-step way, and it is, because there's no magic behind it, guys. It's all about how human brain works. So we see something, all of a sudden we start evaluating something, we are interested by something, and after a while we really consider to do something with it, and eventually we purchase it. We are consumer, we're living in a consumer's world, and digital is enabling us to reach a massive amount of potential consumers, customers all over the world. That's why digital is so powerful. Now, before I move on, sales transaction is completed is your end goal. Of course, your end goal is also to provide value, but actually that's not really your end goal, is it? By providing value is the way you get to completing a sales transaction. So this is important to notice because I think it was David Coley. Now, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. What's the name of the guy who created the 7 minutes workout or the 7 minutes company? Well, I'll look it up again. I don't remember now, but one of the quotes I remember from one of these books about being very efficient in creating something of value that generates the returns, in this case financial returns that you want, is by starting with the end goal in mind. In this case, you guys need to understand that if you're just starting with SFM, if you're just starting with any business endeavor, that you're creating a business. If you don't treat it like a business, it's never going to work like a business, okay? So think with the end goal in mind and use the power of creating value, of providing value to your audience as a way to getting closer to the sales transaction. How am I faring with the time? Wow, already 20 minutes. Right, guys, so this is very easy, and I wanted to summarize the funnel that you've seen before. So what do you do effectively? Target audience. The target audience goes to your advert, they click on it, they visit your website typically, and after a while, they buy what you recommend. And how do you make money? Well, for everything that your audience buys, you earn a commission. So at the end of the day, you're saying, okay, good, but how do I do that? And how do I do that with SFM? Now, I want to spend the last 5 to 10 minutes portion of the conversation talking about how SFM can really help you do a lot around these, right? So there are ways in which SFM is going to help you by making you aware and making you really understand, by training you on how you can do certain things yourself. There are other instances in which SFM will really give you the tools and the technical possibilities to automate how you can do that. So let me see what I have here. So what do you think this is? This is just an example, guys, right? This is the six-figure mentors, levels of access. You see affiliate access, student access, essential membership, elite membership. What do you think this is? This is sort of a funnel. Why did I put it there? Not just because I wanted to expose you to the numbers, but to expose you to what may appear as your lead page. Why am I saying this? Because usually when you start with your target audience and you start with advertising, well, let me get this straight. SFM will not help you directly create your advertising material, but SFM will tremendously help you understand how you can create an effective targeting campaign and understanding how you can create your own niche. Now, when people go and visit your website, this is where effectively your digital assets come into play. And your digital assets come in the form of a lead capture of a sign up page. Why? How did you sign up to my newsletter in the first place? You found my page. There was a nice link with a nice video, a nice picture, some writing, and just very visible somewhere in the page, hopefully as much above the belt as possible. You have seen fields where you could put your name, your email address, click. So that's what's called a lead capture page or sign up page or a magnet page. SFM effectively will help you automate much of that, because SFM has a tool called Simple or Capture Lead that can automate a lot of the creation of fantastic pages with, for example, using a lot of free to use images, right? Ready-made, confectioned is just great without having you spending hours in the, let's admit it, non-value added activities. What should you target on here, guys? You should target on having the people buying what you recommend, but not just by selling hard. Hard selling is not something that I'd recommend. It's not something that I'd like. And honestly, that's why I like SFM so much. It's not even something that SFM as a community practices, because we all don't think is the right way to go about it. People should take out their credit cards and pay for something where they are really getting value from. So before you get to that, understand that it's your end goal, of course, as a business person, but you need to provide value. It's not like a physical store. People don't enter it and then decide to buy there and pay you immediately. People might take several days, several weeks, several months even sometimes before they even take a single action on purchasing any of the products or services you recommend. Be aware of that. That's one of the main differences. But that's called the pipeline effect, by the way. I'm going to talk about it in another video. This is why the digital is so massively leverageable and powerful in generating actions and then income for you even months, days, weeks later after you have done something, right? So this is again the SFM, your streams of income. This is again something that you can refer to. I did put it here for the same reason I put it there. It's because this, effectively speaking, is part of their own sales funnel. You might have seen this before applying. I did, and that's what convinced me eventually of what level I wanted to be in. But then, how specifically does SFM automate your marketing funnel? I just give you a few examples here, and we can go through one of these examples specifically in one of the next lives. But as I was saying before, the creation of lead capture magnet pages. AWeber, you guys are receiving messages from me, my email marketing campaigns, and I'm using AWeber. And there is a level of pre-configuration that can happen in generating your initial 7-day video series that, if I'm not mistaken, is probably part of the first messages you received from me. That was totally automated by SFM, as far as I'm concerned. Video tutorials. So some of these videos, for example, from the 7 days, are great material that you can reuse as part of your marketing message and your positioning and your value creation to the audience. And it's there for you. It's already created. Customer contact. I think this is fundamental. So you are one person. Unless you are starting these with 10 people behind you, helping you out, I can fairly easily imagine that, like me, you made the step towards the creation of your own digital business because you didn't really want to have to deal with 10 people behind you, because you wanted something that could help you work smarter, not harder. Well, this is it. SFM provides an answer to this. How? SFM effectively has a fantastic customer support structure, and every time one of your, do you remember this picture, right? You remember the funnel, right? Taking the lead, every time one of your leads clicks on one of your links that are going to be provided to you with your unique identifier by SFM, so that whenever a sale is associated to that link, to the click on that link, SFM will know that you have been contributing, and that's why you will be paid commissions, right? So at this point, every person who will sign up as a lead or effectively submit their application will be contacted back. Guess what? You can, of course, decide to do it yourself, because maybe it's part of your digital marketing or digital brand. In other cases, people might say, you know what, I want to fully automate this. Whatever works for you, know that customer care of SFM is automating pretty much all of this. They will get back to your prospects. The prospects are the leads who are ready to be nurtured to become your customers, so paying for something with you as a referral, but not have done yet. And they will contact them, they will give them more information, they will guide them through a step of consequent sessions on the phone, and they will provide more information. They're very professional, they are very efficient, and they are very responsive. So be surprised of how many people in general, not just talking about SFM, decide to buy a product or service, not just because of the product or service itself, but because of the customer support that they know they can get surely and timely. And this is the case. Another example of how does SFM help you with automating your marketing funnel? Well, payment and commission processing. Well, Amazon has taught us that the easier you make this experience of having to pay, the smoother it is the transition of people from leads to customers. And this is a great thing about SFM as well. The procedure is easy, and they have all the massive infrastructure behind them. Now I'm really talking about the customer care and the technical infrastructure, which is highly secure, highly protected, and you don't have to care for it. All you need to care for is actually making your work of creating this level of awareness, so guiding the traffic to your site here, target audience as much as possible to your advertising, having them convert and opt in to whatever it is to your list, and then making them convert into customers. This is all that you need to care for, guys. And I know I'm making it sound easy. The fact is that despite the fact that there is effort, it's not more complicated than what I'm talking about. Why do people think that it is extremely complicated? Well, because talking about numbers, you cannot guarantee that every single visit or lead will turn into a customer. It will depend on a myriad of factors, like it will depend on how many on the weather that day. It might depend on your voice. It might depend on the sensitivity of the people that are watching your material that day is. Whatever it is, know that this is a funnel. Your objective is to transform this funnel from a funnel into a cylinder, meaning that the more visits you convert into one-to-one relationship to leads, and then again into one-to-one relationship into paying customer, the more your funnel is going to be profitable. So our goal as digital marketers, as digital business marketers, is to be effectively efficient in understanding what our marketing funnel looks like. So I told you, right? How many ads will you put there? How will you make them? How will you measure them? How will you measure the transformation, the conversion of visits into leads? And how much will you how much effort you will put in actually engaging with your audience to convert them into a purchase? This is up to you to decide, guys. And this can make the difference of having a funnel which is really like that. So having lots of people that are opting in maybe, but very, very small conversion rate, into something which is more like that, right? So the more opt-in, the more you get. So the simple dynamic, the simple arithmetic math that we can conduct on it is that the more traffic you lead, to your, the more target audience you capture as leads because you provide value to them, the more probability you will have of converting them into paying customers and then generating a commission. By the way, guys, if you're new to this, again, I'm reaching the end of this, but I want you to know I'm not at all talking about hard selling. As this worked for you, this has never worked for me. And if you're part of my newsletter, you will see that as part of what SFM teaches, I am never really going out there saying, oh guys, you need to buy these, otherwise you're really going to miss out big time. Yes, the message is probably going to be the same, but in a much different way. So you really need to start considering how you can provide your value, right, to the people that are there so that they can see you as the person who is going to help them solve their problems. So these were just a few examples of how SFM automate your marketing funnel. These are very powerful ones. If you'd had to deal with these yourself, you would probably have to, opt into several, at least 4, 5, 6 different service providers. And I'm not sure, but you might end up really paying quite substantial amounts of money. The benefit with SFM is that you pay once and then you go about your own way of creating your business. They take care about all the technicalities, about all the automation, while you can nurture your lead and create a rapport with them. So developing your brand and creating value for them so that they in turn generate the sales that you need to earn the commissions. So guys, talk later, meaning that after these, if you found this useful, I would appreciate if you left a comment on the comment section. And let me know if you found this useful. I hope you did. If I didn't answer any of the questions you had, make sure you post them so that they're visible to everybody else, that I can watch them and others maybe also contributing to answering them. Go here. If you've not signed up already, you can see on my site, notheretobreakeven.com, apply-today, a form in which you can submit your trial application. It's a 30-day risk-free application membership to SFM, and you're going to see for yourself what I'm talking about, what I've talked about so far. Any questions, any comments, any feedback, you know how to reach me. And make it a great day, guys. The cool thing is about these is that you're creating something for yourself, and you will realize down the road that what you are doing here is more than creating something that can generate an income for you. You're really doing something that's going to transform the way you think, the way you interact with people, the confidence you have in yourself. So take action, learn, start applying what you learn, and start earning. So that's also the great message with SFM, is that you start learning, but at the same time you start earning. And don't stop to mastermind. So start masterminding with other people like me or like-minded people. So this is a great group. Our NH2B, Not Here to Break Even group, is an awesome place to start masterminding. By the way, the next edition of the Let's Talk weekly live is going to take place next Wednesday or next Tuesday, depending on that, because I will be traveling next week, and I will be traveling back to Switzerland. So most probably I will have to schedule it for Tuesday. But the next masterminding session dedicated to you, to opening up to a virtual roundtable of digital marketers or entrepreneurs, digital entrepreneurs coming together, discussing their challenges, their hopes, and their motivations, is something that I'm going to schedule for this upcoming Saturday. So sign up, and I'm not going to use Facebook Live. This is going to take place in Zoom, because that's the place where we can freely interact and see each other live when each of us is talking. All right, guys, I wish you all the best. And again, as I said it here, make it a great day. Let me see here. How do I stop these? Again, make it a great day, guys. Oh, great stuff. Ciao.